Welcome to Student of the Gun Radio. I am your host, Professor Paul Markle. In case you didn't know, if this happens to be your first time, welcome. Have a seat, close your mouth, open your ears, and listen louder. We are coming to you from the Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Online, comma, period, full stop. End of sentence. There you have it. I think SilencerShop.com was actually displaying at the SHOT Show. I saw some pictures on Facebook that they had all their wares out on the tables and stuff.
If they were at SHOT Show, I assume they'll probably be at NRA.
If
they're at NRA, we're going to be at NRA.
Yes, we will be at the NRA annual meeting in Louisville, Kentucky.
And if you're going to be at NRA, we want to see you.
That's right. This is a good time to it's January, so, and the NRA annual meeting is not till the end of April, beginning of May time frame.
It's May 20th to the 21st, 20th to the 22nd.
Really?
Yep. It's like late in May this year.
Wow.
I just looked at it yesterday.
Wow, we got lots of time then. Holy cow, because usually they set it for, it's either the very last weekend of April or the very first weekend of May. That is the norm for the NRA annual meeting. But the 2016 exhibit, wow, that's crazy. I did not realize it was that far away. But whatever. May 20th to the 22nd in Louisville, Kentucky is going to be the NRA annual meeting. So you guys probably want to, if you're anywhere near the Tennessee, Louisville, Ohio, Indiana area, it's a day drive.
Yeah.
So you should come.
We expect to see you there.
We expect to see you there.
And
last year
we will do something special.
Yeah, last year in Nashville we had a really good show. We had a really good time. We met a ton of you folks out there. A lot of you guys took pictures and shook our hands, and we gave away 2 pockets full of stickers. We were giving away student.
You can't get those anywhere else except for there.
Yeah, except for us. Yeah, so. That's what I said. I gave away a couple the other day, and they're like, "Where do I get these?" I said, "From my hand."
Yeah, they're not on the store. We do not sell them.
So you just give
magic.
Yep. Yeah. So.
And we met Jeremy.
That's right, Jeremy from AAFU.
AAFU, American Association of FU.com.
That's right.
Check it out.
AAFU Nation. And
plans for that coming in the future.
And because we don't need your permission, that's why. But here we are. It is Tuesday. We're going to jump right into this. We're at episode 319 already. Wow. Things are moving forward. It seems like just yesterday we did the special episode 300. And thank you once again. Hey, you want to congratulate? You know what we haven't done because things have just got so crazy, like mind-boggling.
Talking about Jeremy?
A winner of the Honey Badger Lower.
Yeah, Jeremy. I think that was
Jeremy Rogers,
wasn't it?
Was it Jeremy Rogers?
I think so.
Oh, don't be dumb now.
I'm almost positive that it was Jeremy.
Okay. From Ohio.
Yes.
All right.
We've done, we did the book thing where Douglas gave away the 5 copies of the Compact of the Republic.
Yeah, Doug Schultz gave away. Yeah.
So I'm like, all these names are mixed in my mind right now, but I'm almost 100% certain that Jeremy Rogers is the winner of the Team Honey Badger Lower.
Yes.
And it was a complete lower.
Yeah, and if you guys weren't paying attention, what we did is we essentially we went into the list of the people who had purchased the Team Honey Badger book, the signed version, the signed copy, and Jared took that number and put it into the random number generator, and it's like random.org. Yeah, random.org. If you ever need to do a random number generator, random.org is actually a really cool way to do it. It's a fair, cool way to do it. Just so happened that Jeremy Rogers was the winner of the Team Honey Badger Lower, and that was from Spikes Tactical. And thank you very much to the folks at Spikes, and we're looking forward to getting some pictures. We haven't gotten any pictures from Jeremy yet, but when he gets his lower and he makes it into a rifle, we want to see it. So, Jeremy, if you're listening...
When he puts the Student of the Gun gun tattoo on it with
Yeah,
Duracoat.
duh. That's, I mean,
Yeah.
that, whew.
Just don't Duracoat over the text.
The honey badger?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you
Yeah,
can
that's
see
true.
it. Yeah. It's like the serial numbers. It's inscribed.
I was thinking of the other lower that they did.
Which other lower?
The Psalm 144 lower.
Oh, yeah.
I mixed two lowers together.
Oh, you were thinking of the Crusader
Yeah, the
one.
Crusader.
Yeah. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to go over the paint on that, but
Yeah.
it's no big deal. So there you go. You know what would really be cool? To go to Duracoat and get like a honey brown, golden honey color, and then do the gun in like that color and black and mix them, like the lower receiver and the upper receiver.
You know what we should
in
have
that
done?
color.
We should have had Spikes send you the lower and you do a custom paint job. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, send it. Well, here's the problem. It's got a freaking serial number on it.
Yeah.
And every time something with a serial number trades hands from from a manufacturer, dealer, distributor to another, it's got to go through an FFL. I mean, I guess I could have, as an individual,
Yeah.
sold it to them for $1 or something like that, or gifted it to them, but we don't want to get into that. From a legal standpoint, it's just easier to go directly from the manufacturer to your FFL. And when we do that, a lot of you guys probably out there, you're listening, especially if you're relatively new to like gun giveaways, you're because of the nonsense in the news constantly, you might be thinking to yourself, well, is that even legal? Is it legal for someone to give you a gun to win a gun? Does Comrade Barry allow that? Didn't his executive order forbid me from winning guns? No, it didn't. So, and executive orders are not laws. P.S. It's not in the Constitution. So there's something like this whole. Well, there's the family friendly because we don't need your permission. That's why. And then there's the other adult friendly one, but we can't say that on iTunes and on the Monday through Thursday hour, can we, Jared?
No.
No, but it's there. All right. Enough. But yeah, we were very glad to partner with Spikes Tactical to do that. And those guys over at Spikes, Cole and Mookie, of course, are fantastic dudes. And they are down. Spikes Tactical is down with the student of the gun. They support us. They think that we're doing a good job. And essentially they've said anything that they can do to help us, help you, then they'll do it. So there you go. All right, Century Arms, the sweetest smelling arms maker in the United States of America, makers of the 100% made in the USA C39 AK. And they are also the importer / manufacturer of the TP9 SF.
Super fun.
It's not super fun. The SA, and the SF, for all of you that are really just totally bunged up about the decocker mechanism on the top. Can't get over that. Okay, great. And we've been promised, what did he say, Q2?
I don't remember.
Of
I think it might have been Q1.
Nah, it won't be Q1 because we're in Q1 now. That won't happen. But they're teasing us with a TP9 compact, which would be about the size of a Glock 19. If they could pull that off,
yeah,
they really. I'm going to go ahead and critique them in public on the radio. They came out with that like race gun thing. You know why they did that? Because the people that manufacture guns don't carry guns. If those turkeys would have come out with a G19, basically a Glock compact size TP9 SA, they would have like burned down the SHOT Show. It would have it'd have been phenomenal. That the TP9. Now I'm carrying it right now. I've got it, and I carry a TP9 SA on my body most every day. And it's a full size gun. It's a big gun. It's actually a fraction larger than a G17. It's a little bit larger than a G17. But you can do it. Got a crossbreed Super Tuck Bruce Jenner commemorative, and I carry it Now, it'd be kind of tough in shorts and a T-shirt. It's like a light gauzy T-shirt and shorts. It'd be kind of tough to conceal that way. But once it's wintertime or, like now with a sweatshirt or a loose, something like that, you can do it. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know about you, but I really am. I'm looking forward to that a lot. Duracoat, we already talked about Duracoat, because life is too short to have an ugly gun. Brownells at brownells.com. They've got frog lube, and they've got Duracoat, and they've got ammo, and they've got emergency and survival gear, and they got all kinds of stuff. Check them out at brownells.com. And for this section, we want to talk about our friends at what? Velocity Triggers.
Superior quality and value.
Superior quality and value. And don't forget, when you go over to Velocity Triggers, if you go to their website or if you go to their Facebook page, let them know. Say, hey, I heard about you on Student of the Gun, because it does matter.
It does matter. And, Jeremy, I fully expect you to get a Velocity Trigger to put in that honey badger lower.
Ooh, yeah. That would be cool. That would be the fashizzle. Certain teachers who hurt the children anyway. All right. Yesterday, we talked about a teacher that gave his life to save the lives of students in Pakistan. And the story that we've got today, this was shared with us by one of our grad program members on the exclusive Facebook grad program Facebook page. And it comes to us from truefeed.us. But the original story came from WTFX Channel 4, Fort Myers. But it goes something like this. High school student disarms gunman, gets suspended? ? Yeah. January 21st is the dateline on this. A Florida high school student wrestled a gun away from another teen on the bus ride home this week and was slapped with a suspension in return. Okay. The 16-year-old Cypress Lake High School student in Fort Myers, Florida, said there was no doubt he saved a life after grappling a loaded .22 caliber revolver being aimed point blank at another student last Tuesday. I think he was really going to shoot him right then and there, said the suspended student, not identified by WFTX because of safety concerns. The student said the suspect, a football player, threatened to shoot a teammate because he had been arguing with his friend. Oh, that's nice. Authorities confirmed the weapon was indeed loaded, and the arrest report stated that the suspect, identified as Quantrill Davis, was pointing the gun directly at another student and threatening to shoot him. Okay, so the police confirmed what the student said. It says, how they going to suspend me for doing the right things? Asked the student. That's when the teen told the station he and two others tackled the suspect and wrestled the gun away from him. The next day, all three students were suspended. So let me play this out for you, because I think there was a little bit of stupid stuck in your ear, and you're like, do what now? So teen thug A pulls out a gun on a school bus, points it at another student, and threatens to kill him. Three other teens tackle the thug and wrestle the gun away from him. Their reward from the school district is to all be suspended. Yes, you read that right. The school's referral slip said he was given an emergency suspension for being involved in an incident involving a weapon. Oh, so is this what we get from our zero tolerance policies? Jared, did we not just talk about this last week? When we talked about it hardcore, I think it was on the grad program hour, wasn't it, Jared? Because we had on last Friday.
Yeah, it was.
We had the hardcore psychological terrorism moment, and I had to say bad words.
You had to say bad words on the grad program, Sean?
I was forced to.
Oh, since you were forced to, it's okay. And since it's a grad program and it's a big boy, big girl hour, then that's also okay.
So during last Friday's show, we talked about how a female student gave her, who with asthma, saw another female student, this is junior high, another junior high student having an asthma attack, and the girl who's having the asthma attack did not have her inhaler. So the one girl gave her inhaler to her friend who used it to relieve her asthma attack symptoms. And both girls were suspended for violating the school's controlled substances policy. Yes, that happened. This is insane, Jared, because less than a week has gone by and we have this story right here from KSDK.com, Channel 5. And the title of this story, dated January 21st, 2016, is Student Suspended After Carrying Classmate Having Asthma Attack to the Nurse.
Why?
Killeen, Texas. What is going on in Texas? Bros and sisters and bros. I think it's time, especially in Texas. You know, this just goes to show you, Jared. We think, like, if you're in New Jersey, and I'm sorry if you're in New Jersey, or California or New York or Massachusetts or whatever, we think of those places and we think of them as being like psychotic leftist, socialist, the citizen is actually a peasant and they must do what the state tells them, and you're, punished for free thought and stuff like that. But when this kind of crap goes down in Alabama, goes down in Texas, goes down, what that tells you is this is not an isolated incident. And this is not regional. This is not something that's only isolated. This is going on throughout the entire world, the entire United States of America. And it's because we've allowed our public schools, our school system, whether it's, K through 12 or college or whatever, we've allowed them to be taken over by left-wing psychotic socialists, by liberal do-gooder socialist lunatics. We have allowed them to take over our educational system because we were too busy doing other stuff. We couldn't be bothered with that. We couldn't be bothered with the fact that the schools actually belong to the people. No, Paul. You don't understand. The school belongs to the state, and the state will tell us what we can and can't do. No, wrong. The United States of America was founded as a representative republic. Every person that works for the government is an employee of the people. The people are the boss. You're supposed to be the boss. Over the last 3 to 4 decades, maybe even 5 decades, there's been an active campaign to convince the citizens of the United States that they are a subservient peasant class, that they are lower than the government, that the government is the all-knowing, all-speaking authority figure, and that you will do what you are told, regardless. No, that is not the way this nation was founded. That's not the way it was codified, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. The only reason it is that way now is because parents, citizens, taxpayers, the people who are working and making this country run through their sweat and effort, have abdicated their citizenship duties. They have abdicated their duties as citizens, and they've just allowed someone else. When you say things like, "Oh, I don't like politics. I don't talk about politics. I don't like politics. I don't want to listen to somebody talk about politics." You know what you're saying? What you're essentially saying is, I'm going to allow someone else to step in and make decisions for me. I'm too mentally lazy to talk about the future of my children. My children's future. Well, what do you mean, Paul? How's that? How in the world does not talking about politics affect your children's future? I don't know. Because whether or not you want to talk about politics, somebody does. And that somebody is more than happy for you to just abdicate your authority And there's no such thing as a power vacuum or an authority vacuum. If you relinquish your authority as a citizen, someone's going to step in. They're going to take that. They're like, oh, you don't want to be in charge? That's cool. I'll be in charge. We'll be in charge. The state will be in charge. And that is exactly why we have this kind of psychotic nonsense going on in our public schools, because you have been convinced that you don't have a say. You've been convinced that you just have to be quiet and that the state said, so because they said, well, you know, the school does have a zero tolerance policy on controlled substances. The school does have a zero tolerance weapons policy. The school belongs to you. It doesn't belong to the psychotic monsters who populate the teachers' unions. The socialist do-gooders who are members of the teachers' unions. It doesn't belong to them. It doesn't belong to the commissar and the ruling class who sit in your state's capitals. No. The schools belong to you, the parents. And the whole reason that you've lost control of your schools is because you've been cowed. You've allowed yourself to be cowed, pushed around, bullied. The socialists and teachers' unions have bullied you into being quiet. How many more times? You know, we got into this public school thing because of all the psychosis going on in the United States with the suspending kids for little tiny toy guns and finger guns and Pop-Tart guns and T-shirts with pictures of guns on them. And that was our gun-related in. But let's face facts. The fact of the matter is none of those were isolated incidents. It's a pattern of behavior. So when I go to Killeen, Texas, and I hear this story, I'm not surprised, because apparently they've lost their bayonets in Killeen. A Killeen mother is defending her son who was suspended after helping a fellow student having an asthma attack. Anthony Ruas, I think it's Ruas, 15, said his 8th grade classmate was wheezing and gagging for 3 minutes Tuesday morning while no one did anything. But when Ruas did something, he apparently broke the rules. He may not follow instructions all the time, but he does have a great heart, said Mandy Cortez Ruas, his mother. Ruas told the Gateway Middle School, an alternative school for Killeen Independent School District, Ruas goes to Gateway Middle School. Ruas has been suspended before, but Tuesday was different. I wasn't trying to hear it, said Cortez, when...
Referring to her son trying to tell her the story of why he was suspended.
Yeah. When she picked up her son from school from the suspension, she told him, no, they already told me what happened, and you walked out of the classroom. And he was like, okay, forget it, and blah, blah, blah. All right, just give me the... This is a crap story. Am I wrong? Is this story written like crap? I don't need all that nonsense. What I need is the facts. According to Russ, the teacher was waiting on an email from the nurse and told the class to remain calm and stay in their seats. Hold on a second. A kid was having an asthma attack, medical emergency. And so the teacher's response was to email the nurse to ask for instructions. I'm sorry for that moment of silence. I'm touching my temples because...
His brain's exploding.
What the farfignugan am I reading here? The school district is unable to provide details. So here's what happened. The kid picked up the child who was having an asthma attack, carried him to the school nurse.
Yeah, it says here's the teacher's. Did you read the teacher's note?
Please read it for me.
Okay, it says, during fifth period, another student complained that she couldn't breathe and was having an asthma attack. As I waited for a response from the nurse, the student fell out of her chair to the floor. Anthony proceeded to go over and pick her up, saying, screw that, but he said that.
He said, F that, we ain't got time to wait for no email from the nurse.
Yeah.
He walked out of the classroom and carried the student to the nurse.
So he's suspended for that.
Wow. So the teacher's response when a child falls as having an asthma attack to the point where they fall out of their chair onto the floor is, hang on, I'm waiting for an email from the nurse to tell me what to do. Wow. Wow. Just wow. Folks, do you ever wonder why when someone is injured in public and they're laying on they're like injured in a car crash or an industrial accident or something, and they're laying there and they're like bleeding and they're like wheezing or whatever, and you get to see it on YouTube because people stand around with their phones recording it while no one does anything to help them. Do you ever wonder how that happens in America? It's the psychotic mentality of people like this teacher and the school district. Oh, don't do anything. What did we talk about on the grad program? We brought up the fact that the reason that little girl was suspended for giving her friend her inhaler was because she didn't get permission from her masters, because she took the initiative to do something.
It's funny. Down here at the bottom it says this whole thing happened on a Tuesday morning. So it says down here that, adding insult to injury, Cortez said the school called her Wednesday morning wanting to know why her son was absent. She had to remind them that they suspended him. Like, what?
Wow. Wow and wow again and wow times two. Wow. Hey, and 2 years ago when I got in front of this black carbon steel microphone and I started yelling into it about how I started saying things like, get your kids out of public schools. I said that. And you know what I got in return? You don't understand, Paul. It's not easy. I know it's easy for you, but it's not easy. And for the last 2+ years...
For the last 2+ years, he's been saying the same thing. And he still gets... Well, I mean, the pushback hasn't been as bad recently. As the years progress, people actually realize that, hey, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe we should get our kids out of public school.
Yeah. And I said, look, stop acting surprised when the school system abuses your children. When the school system psychologically terrorizes your children, when they abuse your children, when they bully your children, stop acting surprised. Stop acting shocked. Oh, I can't believe this is happening. Anybody who says I can't believe this, or I was shocked, or I was surprised, or I can't believe the school is behaving like this, anyone who says this is either a liar or they're stupid, or they're just grossly naive. This has been going on for a long time in the United States of America. And you know what? I think some people are getting fed up with it. And that's why I've got this last story for us here. And this comes to us from the Yahoo left-wing communist news, but a source is a source is a source. And it says, it's under the section of controversy. Parents rage over sex ed class that, quote, rapes children of their innocence. And this is from January 20th, 2016. And I'm going to read a little bit of the story to you here. It says, rival factions yelling at one another amid angry pushing, tirades about condoms, and claims of misinformation. A parent declaring that her children are being force-fed course material, quote, straight from the pits of hell. Such has been the tenor of a recent school board meetings in Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska, the heartland of America, not Massachusetts, not psycho New Jersey or California, Omaha, Nebraska. If I said to you, do you think Omaha, Nebraska would be a good, like a wholesome place to send your kids to school? You'd probably say, yeah, it is. But I digress. It says, as board members contemplate the first update in 3 decades of the school's sex education curriculum. Hey, Jared, has the human body changed in 3 decades, or is the human body the same?
It's the same.
So when I went to sex education in 9th grade, well, we had it, a little bit of it, and you guys remember, back in the old days, if you're 40 or plus years old like me, you remember in 5th grade when, for like the first time in your little school career, they segregated the sexes. They took all the little girls away, and they had to go into a different classroom, and the little boys had to go do something like recess or gym or whatever. And all the little boys are like, how come they took all the girls away? What are they doing? What are they talking about? How come they're not telling us? And it was this like super like top secret presidential deal where I remember they actually, the classroom where they took all the little girls, because back then all the classroom doors had great big windows. Like the top half was a window, it was glass, and you could see into the classroom. I remember the teacher taking newspaper and taping it over the glass so no one could see into the classroom what was going on. It was a super top secret girls only class. And of course, 11-year-old boys are all goobers anyway. They're, what are they doing? What are they doing? And yes, they were having the little, your bodies are going through changes thing, right? Your bodies are going to start going through changes now, and we don't want you to be shocked. So, okay, rock on. And then, you go through sex education, but it's more about human reproduction and letting the little 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds know that, okay, I know all these hormones are going to start dumping into your in your bloodstream, and you're going to become a lunatic, and you're going to want to hump everything in sight, but this is what it's all about. Now, one thing they didn't do when I had sex ed, they talked about fallopian tubes, and they talked about testes, and they talked about spermatozoa and all that jazz. But what they didn't do is they didn't give you suggestions on how to do it. There was no, okay, well, you need to do this and do that, and if you're feeling extra frisky, you can do this. There was no methodology. Yeah.
Shouldn't that be left up to the parents?
Yeah. I don't think we need to be teaching the 13, 14-year-olds the methodology. They need to know what kind of plumbing they've got in there and how their plumbing works as a human being. Okay.
Well, are they even going to teach that anymore? Because don't you get to choose what you have?
Oh, yeah. You can wake up in the morning. I saw a meme.
So how do they split people into the classes?
Well,
how do they educate the right people on the right thing?
I don't know. Well, when I was in high school, your health, we had what was called health class, and in your health class, a portion of health was sex ed. Yeah. Sexual education, like your body's, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to start growing hair down there and, all that kind of stuff. But this, how to is insanity. It is insane to me.
This whole article here, it doesn't even focus on what is in the curriculum that they're going to start teaching. It just focuses on the social conservatives and how they think it's a bad idea.
Well, yeah, here's the deal. When they start, this is what is, and I am glad. The reason I put this in there is because parents are fighting back, and they need to fight back. They're not teaching, okay, like there's an old black and white picture here. And what these leftist psychopaths are trying to convince you is that these weird Christian right people don't want us to tell your daughter that she has fallopian tubes and a uterus and produces eggs and they don't, and menstrual cycle. They don't want us to tell your daughter that. They don't want us to tell your son about nocturnal emissions or what have you. And no, that's not it at all. What they don't want, you psychopaths, is they don't need you indoctrinating my children that they can decide what sex they want to be. And they don't need you telling them all about the wonders of homosexuality or pansexuality or whatever psychopath nonsense is going on now.
Yeah, I lied, actually. There was a button that said read more. Mm-hmm. So after you hit the button that says read more.
This says 8 reasons?
No, it's a read more button all the way at the bottom. That
okay.
Doesn't pop out to the eye. But it says, as initially proposed, the updates would add discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in 7th and 8th grades, and discussion of abortion and emergency contraception in 10th grade lessons on birth control.
Oh. So gender identity?
Yeah. Sexual orientation and gender identity.
Sexual orientation and gender identity.
7th and 8th grade.
So they need to teach your 12 and 13-year-olds about gender identity. You know what their gender identity is? Tell them to go to the bathroom, drop their pants, and look between their legs. If you got twigs and berries, then you're a boy. And if you don't, then you're a girl. Congratulations. And it's not gender identity, it's sex. You psychopaths!
So I need some quiet time.
I do too. Let's have some quiet time. This quiet time moment is brought to you by
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
There you go. Yeah, they are the Tuesday Quiet Time sponsors. And in the show notes it says, why do you smoke cigars, Professor Paul? You said before in public on the radio that you don't like cigarettes and you don't smoke cigarettes. And yet you smoke cigars, and that's the same thing. A, it's not even close to being the same thing. People who smoke cigarettes do it as a nervous habit. People who smoke cigarettes will grab a cigarette and they will run outside for 4 minutes and suck down the cigarette and run back inside. A cigar is completely different. Now, if you don't like cigars and you don't want to smoke a cigar, I don't give a rat's fanny whether you do or not, but I'm going to tell you why I do. When I have a cigar, having a cigar for me is a deliberate action. It is not a nervous habit. I don't just keep one like at hand's reach so that I can fiddle with it. When I have cigar time, Jared, how many times in your youth have we had cigar time, or even before you started smoking cigars when you were young, we would go out onto the porch or we would go somewhere and we would sit and talk while I had a cigar?
A lot.
Often. I would call it cigar time and would say, all right, just one child at a time, not a group of children, not all three of them, and we need to talk. It's not necessarily about anything super serious, like we don't need to talk about, crises or what have you.
Gender identity. You don't want to talk about gender identity?
No, cigar time was not to talk about gender identity.
I thought that's how I figured out that I was a boy.
No, my cigar time is quiet deliberation. It is time that I take for me. And it's something that I do to relax and not focus on all the other stupid nonsense going on in the world. Some people call it a moment of reflection. And whether or not you are a coffee drinker, a tea drinker, whether you enjoy an adult beverage, whether or not you smoke cigars or don't smoke cigars, it doesn't matter. The reason that I'm talking about that this week during the quiet time moment is that every human, and that includes you probably, every human needs to and should take a moment or several moments out of each week for quiet reflection. This is something that I haven't done that much this year, but what I used to do, what I've done previously is, when we would stay at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, the Hard Rock is right on the Gulf of Mexico. And often I would, if it was nice, especially a spring morning, I'd get up, go down, get a coffee, go out to the pool deck, and sit and just look at the ocean, look at the Gulf of Mexico. And the great thing about being out there at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning is nobody's there. It's quiet. I can just begin the day with quiet reflection. Don't have to talk to anybody. Don't have to look at the phone. Don't have to do anything. Ask yourself this. When is the last time that you deliberately took a moment or several moments for reflection? When is the last time you did? Now, like I brought up the cigar thing because when I have a cigar, I block out that time. I don't smoke little, I don't smoke Swisher Sweets and these machine-made. Those aren't really cigars. That's just like garbage. When you're like, well, what are you talking about? They call it a cigar on the label. Shut up. Swisher Sweets and Black and Milds, after they make real cigars, there's like crap on the floor. And they sweep that crap up, and then they pour it into a machine, and they make Swisher Sweets and Black and Milds. Now, when I sit down with a cigar, I block out that time deliberately. I block out 30, 45 minutes, whatever, and that is when I have my own quiet reflection time. And what I want you guys to do as you go forward throughout your week, throughout your month, and so forth, ask yourself, when is the last time that you had a moment of reflection? Or do you ever even do that for yourself? Because if you don't, you owe it to yourself to do that. All right? Like I said, whether it's coffee, tea, cigar, adult beverage, whatever, take a moment for quiet reflection. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're progressing through yet another week, and we'll be back tomorrow with more. Remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.